Why are tech giants like Nvidia, Google, and Microsoft betting billions on biotech? What do they know that the rest of us don't?
If you're a woman in science or even business and you want to start your own company, you don't need to wait, right? You don't need to do what I did. And
You are the kind of person who is curious about the future of health and science. If you're enjoying this conversation, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps more curious minds find us. Welcome to Futures in the Making. Today's guest is Dr. Morgan Stanton. She is the CEO and founder of Opal Therapeutics in San Francisco. Opal is the uterine-in-a-dish company with the goal of providing the tools and science to study gynecological disease like endometriosis and fibroids. Morgan has her Ph.D. in chemistry and is also a mom who likes to serve. Welcome, Morgan.
thank you for having me. Really happy to be here.
We're honored to have you and such a brilliant and mission-driven scientist with us today. And to our smart and caring audience, thank you for being here too. We'll start right away with biotech questions. Biotech sounds like a buzzword, but what is biotech really? And why should the average person care?
Yeah, biotech, it's a pretty broad definition, right? So it can range from things like even like agriculture all the way over to medicine. But fundamentally, it means combining biology with other sciences. So it can be biology and computational science. It can be biology and engineering. Whatever it is, this kind of interdisciplinary work, biology is the fundamental core of what you're doing. And things like where I work in like kind of the health field, biotech means more for like drug development or even something what we do in our lab, like tissue engineering, like building tissues outside the body. This is also under the umbrella of biotech.
Wow. And building tissues outside of the body. I need to digest this information, but is biotech the real future of medicine or just another hype cycle?
No, I think it's definitely the future of medicine, right? It's the problems we face now are complex, right? You need a lot of smart people. You need a lot of different backgrounds to conquer these kind of complex problems. So you can't just have just traditional biology or maybe traditional engineering. You need it all to come together for things like biotechnology to move science forward.
And what makes you believe it's here to stay?
One is just the data systems, right? I'm sure everyone on your podcast has heard of AI in the news or somehow, but data sets from biology are just massive, right? You're not just dealing with like one, like, X plus Y equals Z. You have DNA data, you have tissue level data, you have patient data, like their health records, and you have to look at all of this at once and say there's a connection here, or the drug is working in this way. The only way to look at these large data sets to understand them is through biotechnology and things like AI.
Got it. Thank you. And why are tech giants like Nvidia, Google, and Microsoft betting billions on biotech? What do they know that the rest of us don't?
And they know about that size, right? So they know, like, say you want to work in AI of understanding like the uterus. We're going to go in women's health because that's where I focus. There's, again, so many different layers of understanding the uterus. Maybe you have poor sleep and you have diabetes, but you also have heavy menstrual bleeding. And then you start looking at your genetic data. Again, these massive data sets, what's going to address that is going to be AI. So Nvidia, Google, they're putting their money there because they know we're going to need their help to look at those different kind of multi-levels of data to make any sense of what's happening.
Thank you. Now it's more clear. So it's really tech related, yeah, and GPU and data sets related. Got it. And you've seen it from the inside. What is actually like to work in biotech? What's exciting and what is like really hard?
No, it's that's a great question because now I've been in biotech about 8 years working outside my PhD, and I've got to see the shift since before COVID into now. Biotech is always just a fun place to work, right? You're just on like the cutting edge of what's happening in the field of medicine and healthcare. So it's always, I think, if you're a scientist or entrepreneur, an exciting place to be. I think it's been a harder year for science in general, right? There's been cuts to the National Science Foundation, the National Institutes of Health, less grant money. It's been kind of a tough year for entrepreneurs to raise money. So I think that's been harder. But still, there's just a lot of work happening that's, moving the field forward, especially in women's health.
If you apply for 100 vacancies and hear nothing back, I can help you fix your resume so it gets past ATS and improve your LinkedIn so recruiters come to you. Book your session with me at Key People today. Starting a biotech company sounds impossible to most people. How did you do it, and what surprised you most in that journey?
Yeah, so I've actually always been interested in starting my own company, even like in my early 20s, but I always felt I didn't have enough knowledge or background to make it happen. So, I went through my PhD, I worked in industry for a bit, and it really wasn't until the birth of my daughter that I was like, what am I waiting for? I did this really hard thing. Nothing else is really going to be harder than this. And so that's what kind of made me take the big leap. And of course, the passion for wanting to understand my own body. I'd had fibroid removal surgery, and there just hadn't been a lot of research or understanding of what was happening. I would highly suggest, though, if you're a woman in science or even business and you want to start your own company, you don't need to wait, right? You don't need to do what I did and try to get all this experience, because you're going to learn so much along the way. So for me, it's been very personally fulfilling. I come from a technical background from chemistry, so the business aspect was very new to me. But I've learned so much the past couple of years, and found that my life is bigger. I've met amazing people working in women's health in different aspects. I've met amazing people in AI, and just this really supportive network that wants us to succeed.
Wow. So it's not something expected that after having a first child you have this energy and this idea that you now need to make your life even harder.
I don't know if it's, a little insane, potentially so, but I've actually found a lot of freedom in being a mom and a startup entrepreneur. I don't know if I'd be able to have so much flexibility with my schedule and what I want to do at another company. It's not to say that's a bad decision. I've just found this to be fulfilling for me now.
Yeah, thank you. But it's not rare. I hear it from a lot of other women that something shifted in their mind and they decided to change their profession or start something new. So what an exciting period of life. So you already talked about AI, and I want to dive deeper in this topic a bit. We're hearing a lot about AI transformation and transforming biotech, especially. But what does that look like in practice? Where is the revolution is already happening, or it's not?
I think for most consumers, the biggest revolution will be understanding their own biology to really get this very personalized picture of you, right? And I think you can start at a pretty early level. You don't need, mass amounts of compute power or something, but like your personal wearable devices, like your Oura Ring or Apple Watch, I think will start to have more data that can give you feedback about maybe your menstrual cycle, your how that interacts with your sleep patterns, how that interacts with your mood. So starting to make these connections for you at that personal level. And so I think that's the earliest stage we'll start to see. On a bigger picture, maybe in a couple years down the road, I would say maybe 5 or 10 before, but it's accelerating so quickly. It'll mean like you can go to the doctor and they can have something like a digital twin. So that means kind of like a copycat of your biology in their system. And they can say, you have high predictions for at-risk pregnancy. You could have high predictions for diabetes. That they can get that data more quickly based off your biology.
AI is helping with this data and with these predictions already, or it's in the beginning of this journey?
I think it's the beginning of its journey. I think they're starting to test the waters, right? I think they don't have the insight yet to give those exact diagnoses, but I think that's where it's going. I think one, on the consumer level, you'll start seeing it with like wearable devices. And then as it starts to become more accepted, right? The medical community, your doctors, they move a bit slow right there. And that's for a reason. They don't want to make these radical changes and people won't understand. So it'll take a bit more time to infiltrate their systems, but I think it's definitely on the way.
Thank you. So we're waiting for that. And what are the actual stages of building a biotech startup? Can you walk us through the major milestones?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely have some passion. I would say that's the very beginning, right? Like you want to be passionate about, I would say the idea might be the second stage, but it's a long road. It doesn't happen immediately. So definitely pick a topic you have some great passion in. For me, it's women's health, so that was an easier place to start. And from there, you can build your idea. I think definitely it's not like a straight path. Like that's just, you'll just do these steps, A, B, C, and D. I definitely had a bit of zigzagging around and mistake making to figure it out. So have that passion, have an initial idea, and then go test that idea, right? I think especially for technical scientists or technical founders, you're excited about the science, but you have to find out, is a customer excited about that science? Are they willing to pay for it? So definitely do some digging, prod your friends, family, cold email CEOs. I mean, really get kind of like customer insight into what you're building, and then start going about building it, right? I think from scientists sometimes like, we built this cool thing, don't you want to buy it? And the answer is like, you never talked to us before. So definitely get that done first. And then once you have a prototype, definitely look for those customers that are also passionate about the space and want you to succeed. So not only are they willing to pay for it, they're just excited about supporting that area, whether it's women's health or oncology or neurobiology. They also want the field to succeed, and having those early paying customers and pilots really helps your company take off and, you know, make any edits that you need to, or fix any complications. So that's kind of the easiest advice I could give off the cuff. I would also say build a support network, right? Selling, science, I'm sure everyone will be great at that, but you'll have tough spots. So definitely make friends in the space, whether it's your family that supports you or other founders. Yeah, just make sure you have that support system around you.
Need tech talent fast? At Key People, we connect companies in the US and Europe with elite tech experts from Latin America and the EU, top tier skills and optimal costs. 91% success rate. Women own, HR smart, tech savvy. Click the info box to learn how we can hire your next tech star. Thank you. And there are a lot of steps in front of you. Yeah. So further and why one of the most difficult, from my point of view, is this idea of talking to VCs and other investors. And I wonder, like, biotech VC sounds like a tough crowd. You know, how do you pitch something so complex and uncertain? What actually lands?
Yeah, and again, this is a variety. I don't speak for every VC, but there's definitely kind of like subgroups of biotech VCs. One, know your VC, right? If they only fund Series B companies, don't go pitching to them with your pre-seed idea. But quite a few are very specific to diseases. Sometimes they only want to fund oncology. Sometimes they want to do neurobiology or like psychedelic medicine, something like that. So knowing what genre they want to fund. And then you get a different like variety of tastes within those, right? Some are very small, some are like 2 or 3 people. Some, you know, are massive, like a team of 50, and they do a big variety of diseases. I think it's just important to make those kind of personal connections, right? Especially for your early money. It's kind of like finding a co-founder, or like, I know people always do this with relationships, like it's going to be a marriage, right? Like imagine your company is successful. This VC is going to be with you for the next like 5 to 10 years. You want to make sure you like them up front. And I know everyone always needs funding, right? That's like a desperate entrepreneur, but if they're going to be tied to you like that, they're going to be giving you information, help you make decisions. So try to see it as that way, this like long-term relationship you're investing in. Make sure they're the same field, make sure they're in the same kind of ballpark of what you're working on. And again, have that similar passion for what you're building.
Yeah, thank you so much. I recall the a talk with one VC, and he told me that relationships between entrepreneur and VC can be statistically longer than the average marriage. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so to take this decision wisely, yeah.
Yeah.
And no,
Definitely.
thank you. Thank you for your sincere opinion. And many biotech startups struggles with revenue early on. What are the smartest ways to create a sustainable business model without compromising science?
That it's a very tough question, and I think about it all the time. Often the ideal scenario is be like your clients are, like Pfizer or something, right? And you're just gonna have that first contract with them for like $1 million. And I'm sure that's like some companies maybe get that, but a lot of biotechs, it's going to take steps to build there. So I think to make sure to find clients for like where you are. If you're an early stage biotech with 3 people, start that conversation with Pfizer because it's going to take like 2 or 3 years to close, right? But go after customers that are more in your base. A lot of other young biotech companies or pharma that might be interested in your product. Um, and it's a tough market, right? It's not like it was like right after COVID, where money was flying around. So really understand the value add that you're giving to your customer. Even if it's not direct to consumer, you're still selling B2B, and you want to understand that market. So again, that comes back to spending time doing that customer discovery process and understanding their problems, so you know what you're building and that people want to pay for it. But I would say definitely look at the customers you have now to build towards the customer you want in the future.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I never realized that in a tech world, you usually look at Google or some other big company that will acquire you, and in your world is like Pfizer. Yeah, so uh,
Yeah.
never thought about this exit strategies in other industries. Yeah, so that's also interesting. So, and the most exciting topic for me too is women's health. And there is an idea floating around. We've never fully studied the female body. Is that still true in 2025? And what does that mean for diagnosis, treatment, and trust?
Yeah, so I love that song. There, I think her name is Freda. She made an amazing video. I'm telling you, all your listeners, go look up her videos. She sings a lot about women's health and being a mom. They're very funny. And I think it is true in a sense that we have a long way to go. We weren't studying the female body for a very, very long time. Even during my PhD, I was told not to use female mice or rats because it would be too complicated. And my PhD was 10 years ago, right? So that was just rats. That's not even the human female body. So I think we have a lot to do. However, there is hope. There's so many other entrepreneurs I've met that are working in female health, like trying to address this knowledge gap. There's pushing so fast and so far to really close that gap so we can get treatments, we can get better diagnostics faster for women. I think it's still a work in progress.
But there are a lot of hope in this field right now. Yeah. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, I feel that it's getting more and more popularity, and the podcast that I'm watching, they're having more and more episodes about this female health and new studies and so on. So yes, it's like very um,
There's a
very
lot of opportunity. So if you're an entrepreneur or you want to be, like I say, go for it. there's a lot of areas of women's health that need scientists and MBAs now.
Thank you. Thank you for this inspiration. Yeah. Um, and more personal question is you work at the intersection of science and the female body. What's the one thing you wish everyone understood about women's health?
We actively go out and collect menstrual blood from women in the Bay Area to build our biobank of cells and tissue, right? That's what we're using to study. It's the foundation of our science. So in this, I've learned a lot because I've talked to so many different donors. They've all been wonderful women that are volunteering. How common pain and complications are. I think a lot of women feel siloed, that if they have fibroids, if they have endometriosis, PCOS, they're kind of the only one, like, and their doctor doesn't understand. And that's not true. Like I meet women like this every day, and it's impacting their lives in so many different aspects. It can be reduced time with family, losing time at work, like fatigue, chronic pain. And so just know that they're not alone. I think that's just it can make you feel like something's wrong with you, and that's not the issue, right? Like there's just so many women suffering. So I just want women to know there's a community out there, and their problem is not um in the on the small side, right? Like this is a large scale issue that we need to be addressing quicker as society.
I think that is really important thought. And do you recommend those who struggle to try to reach this community and to share their pain and scary thoughts with them?
Yeah, definitely. Even just start like you don't have to, if you're nervous about like talking to a community, like an online community, maybe you don't know, like talk to your friends and family. I actually found after I got diagnosed with fibroids and I started talking to other women I knew at work or like friends, how common it was, right? Like we'd never discussed it before, and just like how prevalent it was, like how common it was on my dad's side of my family. So it's important to to talk about it, because if not, then no one knows. And so and you don't want to feel alone, I think is the key aspect here.
Thank you, Morgan, so much. It's so inspiring, and you're so smart. And I wish you good luck. And thank you for being here today. Um, wish you luck, and see you next time.
Thank you so much for speaking with me. This was great.